Most of you here probably have had a job or have had a job in the past few months, or maybe even over the summer. But in poorer countries, beginning to work at 16 is impossible, almost like a dream. Children from the age of 10 are forced into the world of adults. About 170 million children are engaged in child labor. In most cases, they work from 6 in the morning until 7 at night to be paid less than 20 cents, unless you're one of the lucky ones who get $1. But the hard truth is, most of us are already aware of what's going on, but yet we are still buying products without knowing who's making them. Ladies and gentlemen, and honorable judges, let me show you the hard reality for some of these children around the world and hopefully persuade you to stop buying from companies who still use child labor or just influence you to buy it less. Contrary to what you might think, it's not just fashion companies who use child labor. Some of your favorite chocolate companies have been using child labor for years. Hershey's, Nestle, Mars, Cadbury, Kit Kat, and Kraft are the most popular brands of chocolate, and you would think they knew better, but apparently not. While doing some research, I found that in 2012, Nestle was trying to raise awareness and prevent the use of child labor. The irony in this is that in 2017, there was a lawsuit against Nestle for the use of child labor. The lawsuit was held in a courtroom in California. The lawsuit was brought up after former child slaves filed the complaint. And after 12 years, the lawsuit was dismissed. But that wasn't the first time. In 2008, they tried to dismiss the case, but the victims kept their complaint. The reason for the dismissal was basically it didn't happen on US soil, so basically it's not our problem, sorry. But besides chocolate companies, here are a list of fashion companies who use child labor, and you've probably already heard of these. H&M, Forever 21, Adidas, Nike, Zara, Urban Outfitters, Aldo, and Victoria's Secret. But those are just the most popular ones. Even Apple, Samsung, and Sony have admitted to using child labor. In 2013, 74 children under the age of 16 were hired by Apple under forged identity papers, and although they admitted to child labor, they refused to disclose the ages of these children. It leads you to think, how old were these children? In 2018, 2 French companies filed a lawsuit against Samsung for the use of child labor, once again. Also pretty ironic, since they claim to be, quote-unquote, one of the most ethical companies in the world. So when are we going to stop supporting these brands and start supporting brands who actually are trying to make a difference? Like Everlane, Reformation, and Pact. They're smaller brands that nobody knows of, but they are actually trying to be ethical and are trying to support being against child labor. And I will admit, I do buy from the brands that I previously mentioned. And I was shocked when I found out that they supported child labor. So maybe it's time for change. See, I was reading an article about a 10-year-old boy named Emmanuel who lived in Côte d'Ivoire and has to wake up really early in the morning to go work in the cocoa fields. And every morning he sees the other children walking the other direction to go to school. This is not okay. Here in Canada, we are lucky because we got the opportunity to have a childhood and we were given the right to an education, but yet we are still complaining that it's boring and it sucks, while these children would kill to go to school. But for children like Emmanuel, who are born in poor countries, this is what they have to do in order to please our needs. In many cases, children are forced into the workforce because it's the only way to make money, and it's the only way they can support their family. Hearing about how miserable these children are saddens me because I picture my siblings in a situation like that, and I wouldn't be able to let that slide. And I'm sure you guys have siblings or even children, so let me ask you this, would you let that slide? So why do we do it on a daily basis? For some cheap deals? Or is it to have the newest model of the most popular brand? Maybe it's because you want to fit in? It took me 2 minutes, maybe less, to look up online which companies use child labor. So what's stopping you? Thank you.